Okie dokie. Sorry about the wait there, folks. Let's see here. I'm double checking real quick. I was just putting some hot water on the. Putting on some hot water. There we go. Anyways, let's see what we got. All right. So it looks like the players are all together and everything. So, let me go ahead and pop right on in, and it'll be about a 2 to 3 minute wait. Until then, just go ahead and kick back and relax. I'll see you guys soon.
10 seconds remain. 5 seconds remain. Seconds remain.
Alrighty, I do apologize about the long wait there. I was preoccupied with a few other things that I thought I'd finished with, but that wasn't the case, so gotta had to fix that. And then to top it off, the water was just not boiling fast enough. Anyways, okay. All right, so we got intermediate tier Terries facing off with Pot of Greed in the playoffs for the AD2L Season 31 in the Intermediate League, as far as I remember. Okay, so we're in for a good matchup, so go ahead and, you know, do the usual. Kick back, relax, so forth, whatnot. And we're in the draft stage, as you can see, and we're down to our fourth pick there for ITT. All right. Anyways, let's go ahead and just like do a quick overview real fast. Oh, they picked out a Juggernaut. Interesting. Okay, cool. Looking at the ITT lineup, they have a very fun lineup, in my opinion. We need to go ahead and take a look at the bans. The Grimstroke Axe with the Mars and Death Prophet in the first phase for both teams. It kind of feels like they didn't want to give Gree his Grimstroke and Welshie an Axe. And given the picks that they had with Oracle and Leshrac, they didn't feel comfortable giving him, Welshie at least, a Brewmaster and a Centaur, which is a good call given that Welshie is really good with the Brewmaster, and Centaur is really heavy in the meta. Medusa, I think they wanted to take a nice carry out of the pool that can double up as a mid hero. Alrighty, so no Spectre, no AM, no Lifestealer, no Faceless Void. So they're really attacking the carry pull right now from Pot of Greed. They picked up their carry in Juggernaut. They're trying to force ITT into having a bad matchup carry-wise, and I don't feel like they're going to have too much of an issue just yet. Phantom Lancer is still in the pool. This is, given Leshrac and there's Underlord, PL would have a very difficult time to an extent, depending if you can get into the late game and have decent farm. So they opted to take out the Storm Spirit and the Puck. Ooh, intriguing. Alrighty. And they banned out the Drow as well, which gives them a nice little setup. Oh, I did not see this one coming. So it kind of feels like Welshie's going to be on the Underlord. Enigma is going to be played by Gree, followed by Naya, being teamed up with B-Jack in the safe lane. And Underlord is going to be, oh wait, I already mentioned Underlord. And Rob Boss would be the Leshrac. Okay, but we can go ahead and take a look at ITT. Clinks, I believe, really is going to be in the safe lane. You can go ahead and grab Arno and put him in the mid lane with the Snapfire from what I can see in the lineup. But Hoodwink can be a good possibility. When it comes down to Leshrac, you want to give yourself the best bet. And last I checked, I believe Snapfire would be the better mid hero between the two, Snapfire and Hoodwink. So that's how I would go about it. But better yet, we got Yami on the Earth Spirit. Ross Garner is going to be playing on the Clinks. Arno's on the Snapfire with Light on Hoodwink. And Thug Potato going to be rounding out the team with the Tide Hunter. Hot. Okay. Alright, so, it looks like Naya is going to be on the Enigma and Gree's going to play the Oracle, so there might be a little small switch up here. Unless they want to go ahead and make Enigma 5 with an Oracle 4, Welshie 3 on the Underlord. So that's a really nice turn of events, if you want to call it that. So again, everyone, I do want to apologize again for taking so long to go ahead and get back here to go ahead and cast this game. So far we haven't missed any action, thankfully. Alright, so while this is being loaded up and whatnot, aren't you guys excited for the upcoming days of Dota? Because we have a few deciders coming in for the NADPC and the SA region. SA being tomorrow. And then we also have the, whatchamacallit, the NADPC Division 2 kind of deciders later in the on Saturday.
Alright guys, I know we probably lost this game, but we can still do. Alright guys, I know we probably lost this game, but we can still do this.
You will be forever alone.
Okay. So from the looks of things, it looks like Naya is going to be playing onto the Enigma 5. Okay. Already has a sentry on in the inventory. We do have a scouting. Oh, not even a scouting. This was an Earth Spirit that desperately wanted to put up this ward and try to do it as sneaky as possible. I don't know if... Oh, it did get a glimpse of him, so they did know that he is nearby. Oh, instantly dewarded. Naya saw the Earth Spirit and was like, okay, we got to get rid of this ASAP. Okay. Given that the roll is a 16-second cooldown, it would take him 30 some odd seconds to go ahead and sneak on out the way he wanted to without getting caught. If I was to go ahead and make a guess. So cut through here, roll through there, wait another 16 seconds to roll on out without getting caught by that vision. Okay. So they're going to go ahead and B-Jack going to try to do a quick little sneaky play here. Oh, there's the Fire Snap Cookie to go ahead and stun him up. He's going to go ahead and try to walk as best as he can, but he's going to spin instead and do an instant TP. A small little thing right there to go ahead and give himself the best option for not losing out on too much health.
Probably lost this game, but we can still do this.
Oh gosh. Shame. Anywho's, alright, so we got Light matching off with Raw Boss with a Hoodwink in the mid. So we're probably going to be seeing more of a Q-centric Acorn shot instead of the Bushwhack, or well, more like a 3-2 into the ulti on 6. Alright, that's how I feel the Hoodwink can go ahead and try to win this lane. Okay. And when we go ahead and move on over down to the bottom lane real quick, we're going to see a little bit of action going on. with Gree and Welshi on the in the off lane against Arno and Ross Garner. You know, so it kind of feels like Ross Garner and Arno are going to be able to control this lane with a bit of ease. Gree, on the other hand, and Welshi feel like they need to go and try to figure out what kind of lane manipulation they needed to do. Chances are they're going to probably aim at Arno the most instead of trying to focusing down the Clinks. They do have 2 routes. I think as soon as they get level 3 on both heroes, they're going to go ahead and just run at one of these heroes, either the support or the Clinks. So out comes the fake Edict. Alright. Firestorm and Atrophy auras going on. Throwing down some Syrian arrows onto Welshi. Welshi has to back off just a tad bit. That combination with the Blightstone and the Syrian arrow hurts a lot when it lands. And so they kind of have to monitor that situation. I kind of feel like even though Atrophy aura is really great in lane, I kind of feel like 1 point at least in the Pit of Malice can do a lot for Pot of Greed. But let's go ahead and visit the top lane. Ooh, Thug Potato almost went down there. Okay, has to go ahead and pop a salve. And I believe, oh, yep, that was his own salve from the looks of things. Okay. So B-Jack, Honeydew, and Naya were able to go ahead and harass Thug Potato to the point in which that the Blade Fury was able to go ahead and take him out. There's a quick rock kick from Yami. Just go ahead and try to do a little bit of form of harassment here. I'm not entirely sure if they wanted to go ahead and initiate on that. 1 point in Gush, 2 points in Anchor Smash. Kind of feels more like a contesting lane into B-Jack Honeydew more than anything else. Which is really, you know, what more can you really ask? Okay, the Earth Spirit's right here to try to go ahead and pull that lane. They don't know that it's blocked just yet, but they will figure it out soon. Spin is available for Honeydew if he needs to go ahead and use it. Doesn't feel like he's in too much of a trouble. Oh, great half pull from Naya over here to go ahead and really take away the advantage from Thug Potato and Yami. Now let's go ahead and visit on back down the mid. Let's see here. It kind of seems a little even Steven. You know, 16-2, 17-4. Alright. Raw Boss can easily get back into this lane if he decides to go ahead and stack 1 or 2 camps for himself and just go ahead and just, you know, use his Diabolic Edict a bit. You know, the Split Earth is going to be very helpful against Light if you can go ahead and land it. Oh, so Hoodwink opted to go with 3 points into Bushwhack and 2 points into the Acorn Shot. Really favors the stun a lot. So I think down on top and bottom, the 2 main cores for ITT go down. And I do feel a little sad because I was about to start explaining a few more things down in mid. That's alright. So from the looks of things, I believe it kind of feels like he was out of position, a lot of atrophy stacks, and the right clicking, and a maxed out Fortune's End is what did that trick there. Over on top, they were able to go ahead and catch out an Earth Spirit that was out of position. He tried to go ahead and roll away, but the block onto B-Jack Honeydew went ahead and kept him there. And sometimes you gotta kick the person away so you can roll. You know. Little Gush action there. And Thug Potato trying to keep Honeydew from farming safely.
Move faster.
Oh boy. Over again. Okay, so we got a few points. Oh. They put a lot of points into Purifying Flames for this. Okay, so they went ahead and tried to do a burst mode kind of thing. Here comes the Firestorm. They have him rooted down a bit, throwing out a Sentry. They don't know just yet that the Sentry is in range of the enemy Sentry just yet. They may figure it out real soon. As soon as they can go ahead and gain control of it. Ah, there it is. Now it's gone. They know. Alright. Oh, Little Shredder is active. Oh man. Little Shredder with a bit of Blightstone and Searing Arrows. I know the Firestorm was right there to go ahead and zone out Ross Garner. But if Ross Garner took a long way around and they were coordinating this a little bit more with Arno, I believe they would have been getting Welshie in that. It's a nice little combative what was it, kill lane with Ross Garner and the and Arno. Feels really nice, honestly. Like, but oh, so the Blightstone was on Snapfire, not on the on Ross Garner. So he's gonna go ahead and throw out some Searing Arrows, but that isn't enough to go ahead and save his partner in lane, who went ahead and just got melted. But if we go up top, we do see a little bit of contest here. Alright, both B-Jack Honeydew and Thug Potato were both really, really low. Alright, they don't have a salve just yet, but here comes the roll. There's the kick. There is a great play by Yami to go ahead and slow down B-Jack Honeydew. Oh, a little bit of tipping action going on. There's not much an Enigma can do to try to go ahead and save his Juggernaut, you know. It's just one of those things that's like, okay, he's kind of stuck there. You know, it's like all he can really do is just hit Malefice and right click as much as he possibly can. Maybe throw down a Midnight Pull so the guy wants to stick around a bit. All right, Light has no vision on the bottom rune, so you go ahead. So he showed up just a little bit late. Oh, there's a Diabolic Edict and everything. That 4 points in Bushwhack with the Acorn Shot on top of the Sharpshooter was able to go ahead and kill Rob Boss there. A lot of damage right there, so it makes a lot of sense as to why. Oh, they were also able to go ahead and take out Arno. And they took out the Clinks right beforehand as well, too. Yikes. So there is a lot of kill action going on right now. You know, Light got Rob Boss, and then before even that happened, there was Greed that was able to take out the Clinks, and then they followed it up more after their mid-death that they went after the Snapfire a bit. So it's a little bit of a greedy build for B-Jack Honeydew. Oh, out comes the Omni Slash. They have him Maleficed up, and he is probably going to be going down to this. There you go. And quick mango, a little bit of clarity. You know, really mana up this Juggernaut. So you can go ahead and start spamming whatever he needs to. It is a bit of a a greedy build and trying to get a Battle Fury. He did have a decent start, if not a relatively good start in lane. Okay, when it comes to farming and so forth. I do feel that starting this late into a Battle Fury seems to be a little much. I don't think it's the best, but oh, down goes Welshie. There's the black hole from Naya. They're able to go ahead and get the courier. He's stunned up by the Bushwhack. Lights was able to go ahead and take him out from the Sharpshooter, but man, this Diabolic Edict is able to go ahead and protect them. But let's go ahead and evacuate. And from Welshie's point of view, it's like, let's not stick around. So they're able to come on back home and worry not too much. That black hole wasn't the best one that was landed, but they were able to go ahead and at least get the courier. And I forgot, courier can get affected by black hole, so it was an easy snipe if you think about it. You know, great positioning from Light to go ahead and make sure to not get caught out. Great support from Yami as well. All right, we do have a little bit of more action going on. Arno trying to harass Welshie out of lane, but that's going to be super difficult to do. Out comes the Fortunes, and they have them rooted up for a moment, but the Firestorm was not in the correct spot, and it was a little bit of a late Fortunes end. So not much to do there. Alright, they do have 1 point in the Pit of Malice, so probably a little bit more communication and teamwork. They would probably be able to go ahead and get Arno And there it goes. There's the Fire Snap cookie, but they went ahead and took him out anyways because of the Purifying Flames. So great job from Gree right there. They're putting a lot of good pressure here, which is what they need to do. In doing so, they're forcing Ross Garner to go into the jungle with a little bit of a bodyguard from Yami there. Okay. But unfortunately, that means, you know, Light cannot leave his mid lane. Or their mid lane. Because they need to keep an eye on this mid tower. So Ross Garner is going to rotate on in. If he gets caught out by Rob Boss just once and a little bit of dust, Ross Garner is not going to be able to survive this, even though he does have Death Pact. Okay, so it's a bit of a notion of like, hey, we need to protect this mid tower because Rob Boss can go ahead and use Diabolic Edict and go ahead and just tick down this tower. And as you can see, it's going down really fast. Oh, they're going to go ahead and use the Fortunes and use the Dust to go ahead and secure that. They got an easy kill, but that also signifies to the team over here up top, they're like, hey, our Clinks is dead, so let's go ahead and try to do a 4-on-1 on Juggernaut. But B-Jack Honeydew, being the ever so sly carry, went ahead and decided to opt to back off just a little bit. Alright, he's not that far away from a broadsword and like less than 140. They're going to go ahead and just jump on in. They commit the Ravage. He's going to go ahead and try to spin, throwing down the Healing Ward to go ahead and protect himself. Rob Boss showing up, throwing out the Lightning. Does have the Diabolic Edict. Ooh, and a quick crit right there to go ahead and take out the Earth Spirit. Oh, we got a disconnect going on. Uh-oh. Let's go ahead and just throw in some music real quick. And you know what? We've been listening to a lot of chiptune music, so let's see if we can find some chill piano music. Oh, there it is. Let's try this one. All right. The player has reconnected, so let's go ahead and put a pause to this music real quick. All right. And we're back. All right, Light's backing away with Thug Potato. They're not really wanting to mess with this just yet. So if B-Jack Honeydew is able to go ahead and finish up his Battle Fury within like the next 2 minutes or so, I believe he's going to be capable of doing that. He's going to be, I'm not going to say behind schedule, but you really want to aim for like a 13, 14 minute Battle Fury if you wanted to go ahead and do a greedy build. But given the state of the game and who you have across on the map, it doesn't feel like a late Battle Fury is going to be detrimental to your game. Oh, they go ahead and throw out the Pit of Malice, but Thug Potato is in a nice position, throwing out a Gush to go ahead and try to push him off a tower, but that doesn't feel like that's going to be happening anytime soon. So we got Light on the side over here. We got a Bushwhack onto 2. Out throws the Acorn Shot, but throwing down the Healing Ward to go ahead and stay in place. They're going to go ahead and use the little shutter to get rid of him. Yules, and there's the Earth Split, but it was missed. Oh, there goes the Bushwhack. Gets onto 1, but man, that well-timed Omni Slash goes ahead and takes out the Snapfire and Arno, and Arno must be having one of those games where he's just like, I don't want to be here no more. Absolutely getting wrecked in lane and so forth. But, you know, this is a great start to Rob Boss, you know, and then the Juggernaut is pretty much on schedule, finishing within the next minute or so. So you can go ahead and get that Battle Fury. And like I was mentioning beforehand, he doesn't feel like, well, at least I would assume, that this is going to be a bad Battle Fury game for him. Even though it is going to be a tad bit late, like I mentioned before. But that's fine. He doesn't really need to go ahead and worry about it too much. We have a Clinks on the other side who's going to go ahead and try to get himself a Dragon Lance. Okay. So it kind of feels like the strategy from
Radiant should look to
ITT is more along the lines of, oh, out comes the Snapfire kisses. All right, they're gonna keep on kissing away. Oh, in comes the roll. There is the Ravage, but they miss one on Raw Boss. But the Bushwhack is right there to help out. The Magnetize doing its job. Oh no, and the Little Shredder doing its thing. They're gonna go ahead and try to evacuate with the Dark Rift. Can they go ahead and kill the Welshie in time? They're unable to do so. They spread out their damage a little bit too much against everyone else, giving the opportunity for Welshie to go ahead and get the TP with his Enigma and Naya. They're both probably sweating a few bullets there, but not too much to worry about. Okay, they're not that far away. Okay, so it's almost there, almost completion that 16 minutes or so. Okay, so they're more focused on the team fighting centric side of things. So whenever the Ravage is up, they're going to go ahead and try to mosey on in and just start taking people out. Honestly, I think that it's more along the lines of like trying to, like I said, do like small little quick skirmishes and then get on out. They have to rely on Hoodwink and getting his Gleipnir from the looks of things. The Mithril Hammer is almost done, so the Maelstrom is going to be there in the inventory relatively soon. And then I think of quick BKB. Oh, Rob Boss, agree. They found the Arno, and they're like, okay, we're going to go ahead and kill him. All right, throwing down his sentry. Almost had Russ Garner within range, so. Oh, they're throwing. Oh, no. There's a courier. And, oh, gosh. That courier barely surviving. One more hit and would have been taken out. So they went ahead and confirmed their suspicions about the ward there.
Radiant's bottom tower is
So
in danger.
this is what you kind of sort of have to be careful if you are the intermediate tier Terries. Okay. Because your lineup is so focused on doing small little quick skirmishes, guerrilla tactics, warfare type things, that if Pot of Greed decide to go ahead and start pushing lanes, which they seem like they're wanting to do right now, okay, it makes it a little bit difficult to try to find a quick pickoff. All right, because it kind of feels like they're within range from each other. Minus Naya, who's the Enigma, who's trying to fix his trying to find his way to a Blink Dagger's not that far away, about 500 or so gold. Welshie, on the other hand, is basically more or less ready for battle. Like, he has his Vanguard, he has a mech, he can go ahead and just start running down lanes if he wanted to. Something that I think, you know, like, if Underlord is all alone by him, well, lonesome, you know, that's a fight that, you know, you and your teammates can go ahead and take if you're ITT. You know, like I'm saying, their design, the lineup is very focused on single targets. So quick little skirmishes and burst down real fast, I think is very possible. Scatterblast to go ahead and try to fend off Welshie and the push. This is the one thing they kind of need to be weary about as a raw boss. They have vision on Light, so Light's like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and walk away from this for a bit. They had vision. They went ahead and took it away. Okay, so this gives a lot of space for B-Jack Honeydew. He already has his Battle Fury. He's almost there to a Yasha. And then he's going to be able to grab his Manta. And at the rate that he's going, they desperately need this Clinks to build something that can really help out. Not entirely sure what it will be at this juncture, but it doesn't hurt to say that a Desolator is not a bad item to grab. They do have a lot of tanky boys on that side. Like, take a look at the armor. 14 armor on the Underlord. You got 20 on Juggernaut. You know, 7's not too much for a support. You know, 11 on the Leshrac. And then you got 6 on the Enigma. So, ooh, who also has Philosopher's Stone. So, he does have his Blink Dagger and it's going to be on the way. So, probably aiming for a BKB next. And I think that's an item that that both sides do want to grab at some point. Mainly for ITT, because when you have a raw boss there in the Leshrac, you really need to engage and you need to run on through without any fear whatsoever. And having a BKB makes it a lot easier to go ahead and take those fights. I know the Omni Slash is there from the Juggernaut, which is a bit of a threat, you know, because it goes through BKB, meaning that, you know, it's physical damage and so forth, if I'm not mistaken. You know, they're trying to hunt down. They're trying to find each other, and they both smoked up at the same time. So, if I'm Pot of Greed, it's okay to go ahead and expose your smoke right now and be like, okay, we're gonna go ahead and push, which Rob Boss is doing, and it's a smart little thing here that they didn't go ahead and waste their smoke. But oh, they have eyes. Arno sees it. There's the courier. And can they go ahead and kill it? Yes, they will. Alright, so they know they have the high ground. They're going to go ahead and try to back away a little bit of bushwhack warning right there. It kind of feels like Pot of Greed can go ahead and just keep this whole entire area to themselves. Just go ahead and just put a few wards and deward the area. Just go ahead and just start doing their thing. Oh, we have a very, very ballsy Thug Potato moving on in. You know, he is in range of that ward, so it didn't feel like they wanted to go ahead and just engage on a Tidehunter, because, like, you know, Tidehunter's a Tidehunter. You engage, counter Ravage, and so forth. Could go ahead and lead to a lot of a mess. Alright, ooh. They missed, but they did get the Fortune's End in the back lane just a little bit. So they're going to go ahead and try to reorganize where they wanted to go ahead and take this fight. Alright. Welshi trying to be the frontliner, trying to guess which angle they're going to come in and attack. So he's going to go ahead and visit on down and be like, hey, that's a good effort. They see the spray. They're not afraid of it. You know, it's a good job from Pot of Greed to go ahead and try to contest this area as much as they possibly can, which is fine. Alright, I'm not entirely sure why the hero level was up, but we have a great lead in Juggernaut, who has his Yasha, is almost there to his Aghanim Shard, which, a quick reminder, is a Blade Fury, increased movement speed during the spell by 100 and attacks a random nearby unit. Alright, we got a little bit of action going on. Now comes the Ravage. Oh, the Blade Fury came out in time, so that way he doesn't get smacked by it. Well, she's right there. Going to go ahead and proc a lot of his items. The Snapfire Kisses are going to go ahead and land a bit. Oh, we have Rob Boss, who got bushwhacked, but he's not in too much of a big trouble. Oh, but Yami, on the other hand, I'm guessing just rolled on by everybody. Is like, I missed it. Huh? So, they know they have at least one hero separated. They're going to go ahead and move on forward. Arno picking the right pathing to go ahead and get out of there ASAP. And Pot of Greed moving together across and sweeping this map together as a unit. They have eyes. You know, they had eyes, but... Oh, a bushwhack onto 3. That was great, but no Ravage on the follow-up because 90-second cooldown. Oh, the Split Earth misses. They're going to go ahead and get this tower anyways. A lot of damage being applied to Welshi. There's the bushwhack, but it misses. Out comes the, out comes the Fate's Edict to go ahead and just heal him up a bit. You know, not to mention the whole entire Dispel and so forth, if I'm not mistaken. Ah, there's the Dispel and the Fortune's End. Right, they're still applying a good amount of pressure here. We got Rabas. Oh, they landed one. They're going to go ahead and use a little shudder a bit. Honeydew is going to move forward and use his Omni Slash. They use the lightning to slow him down a bit. They're going to use up the Tidehunter and Thug Potato. There's the Split Earth and lands. They're going to go ahead and keep... Oh, they got 2 on this one, on this bushwhack. Out comes the Sharpshooter. Try to get aim onto Welsh. Can they go ahead and land it? It misses entirely. There's a great black hole landing on 3. They're going to go ahead and take out those heroes, and they're going to move on forward. Try to focus down on light, and they're able to go ahead and get a magnificent team wipe here. All 5 and no dead on the side of Pot of Greed. So they're going to go ahead and get a quick tier 3 tower out of this. 2 buybacks are available. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever in my mind to go ahead and try to contest this. You know, all 5 of your heroes died. You guys had a bad angle. You kind of feel like you're able to go ahead and contest this, but it's definitely not a good idea given that your Ravage is down. for a good portion of that, a Dark Rift, to come on back to the other side of the map, of course, to go ahead and reset this pushing lanes. But it, like, as much as I wanted to say, hey, you have one Snapfire up who died relatively early in that fight, 3 buybacks available, you know, like, don't shoot yourself more in the foot. You know, you were down by, like, I want to say, was like about, I want to say 8k, 7k, easy. And then after that team fight, it just spiraled out of control. So before that team fight, yeah, you were about, yeah, roughly about 7k behind, and then it just turned into 13k. You know, so it was really smart not to do that. Oh, great roll in by Yami. There's the Ravage. Nobody picked up the Aegis yet, and Yami was able to go ahead and steal it away. Great Ravage by Thug Potato, but he's going to go ahead and die anyways in Yami, but they're going to go ahead and try to turn this around. Out comes the Sharpshooter. They're trying to kill Welshi, but they were able to go ahead and do so finally, and Pot of Greed is on the retreat. You know, there's the spin to go ahead and protect. That roll just missed everybody, but he ran into Rob Boss in the back line. The Bushwhack missing. They're going to go ahead and use the little shredder to try to kill him, and they're able to do so with the last Syrian arrow to get the kill. Great job by Ross Garner not giving that up. The Fortune's End coming out to go get those two stuck in the middle of the lane with no follow-up whatsoever. Oh boy. Ah, so that was a good team fight. You know, down 9k instead of 13 to 14. Ross Garner had finished the Desolator for quite a bit. Trying to think on the next item that he needs to build. You know, the Death Pact is really nice and everything. Let's see here. I would be aiming for, yes, a BKB. You know. That's what I would be aiming for, because you really want to stand your ground when you're trying to fight a Leshrac, especially if they're going to be on the offense. So that was a great little sneaky Roche from Pot of Greed, not from Pot of Greed, but like from ITT, the intermediate tier Terries. They recognized that Pot of Greed was going to go ahead and take that Roshan. That's a really, really, really basic one, honestly. Not entirely sure what led to that at that point, and I believe they had no vision, because if they were able to see that the Ravage was up, they kind of figured that out in Thug Potato, so they had to keep their eyes out on that by aggressively chasing down the items that they have right now, and no BKB except for the Enigma, and I believe this is a fresh BKB. Okay, you can't really not expect that. So they needed to have vision over here in this area. Oh, they were able to catch out one Earth Spirit. They're going to go ahead and move on forward. They really got two now. Oh my. And Arno disconnected. Oh. Uh-oh. Let me go ahead and just transition back over real quick and play some music. All right. So like I was saying beforehand, right? I forgot. But anyways. They do have Arno coming back. Oh, what was I talking about? Okay. Anywho, the BKB is a really important item for the Clinks in this game when you have to deal with Rob Boss and a lot of the magic damage is coming out. And I'm a little surprised that the what was it? That the Snapfire isn't making, or at least trying to aim for an Aghanim Scepter. Because an Aghanim Scepter I know is a little much, but you know, you already have the Solar Crest. That's probably the one item that you really need is an Ag Scepters, just so you can go ahead and just gobble up the Tidehunter and just tuck them in the middle of things, so that way his Blink Dagger can be a little bit more effective at that point. You know, you just go ahead and gobble him up, check him in, you can go ahead and Ravage right away. If you time it right, you know, no need for
Who said you could stroll in my woods?
to go ahead and like worry about using his BKB. Okay, so here's a high ground defense going on for the intermediate tier Terries. They're going to go ahead and try to defend themselves on this. And a blink forward Thug Potato Ravage, which is going to miss entirely. And the Snapfire Kiss is coming on out, whiffing left and right. They're going to go ahead and use up Thug Potato. And the Split Earth misses, and they're going to go ahead and use the Diabolic Edict, the Pit of Malice, landing on one. And the blink forward with the Black Hole getting one with a Rooted Yami in the side. He's going to be taken out, hopefully, relatively soon. Oh, he stayed alive for quite a bit. All right, here comes the 2 buybacks. All right, there's a little bit. Oh, boy, the scatter shot. Oh, they're going to go ahead and use the not the Aghanims. They're going to go ahead and use Omni Slash right there to take out the Snapfire. That's a dieback. And the roll in from Yami to go ahead and try to help out another dieback. They have 3 cores remaining at this point. They're going to go ahead and keep this damn Ross Garner rooted, but he's going to survive. And same thing with Thug Potato and Lights with the great bushwhacks. Oh, can he finish the job, though? He's unable to do so, and Welshie being super tanky, allowing B-Jack Honeydew to go ahead and secure getting this Rax in the mid lane while Light is being distracted, of course. Oh, he's going to go ahead and try to be more of a distraction again, B-Jack Honeydew. He is trying to save up for an Aghanim Scepter. A lot of action in this game, folks. We got Rabas trying to get himself a nice tier 3. He's going to run at Lights, who's rooted for a tad bit up in the air. But oh my gosh, Ross Garner absolutely destroying the poor Rabas. Was just absolutely wailing on him. Alright, and it kind of feels like... Yep, Thug Potato will fall as well. He does have a buyback available. Fire Snap Cookie to reposition the Ross Garner. They're getting the Mega Creeps here. No Ravage available just yet, but they're going to go ahead and use a Dark Rift to go ahead and leave. And they're able to do so. The roll on in from Yami, not in time, to go ahead and try to kick at least one person out of there. Oh, the backs are up against the wall, and they're not even going to go ahead and attempt one of the for a comeback at this. So they're just going to go ahead and call them out themselves with a quick GG at the very, very end due to the Mega Creeps and just move on to the next game. So that leaves with a 1-0 lead from Pot of Greed in this best of 3 series.
But will it follow the same thread?
So that was a great game from Pot of Greed. They had a game plan and they executed it accordingly. Intermediate tier Terrys, on the other hand, they had a game plan. I don't think they were able to execute it as well as Pot of Greed, but there was a few moments that they were able to go ahead and pull off what they wanted to execute with their lineup, and it was fairly effective. They just needed to do it a little bit more. Ooh, next one, please. Alrighty, so we have a small little break in the action. Okay, so the teams are trying to go ahead and get themselves into the lobby and set this next game up. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and give myself a small little tiny break and go ahead and just let the music play. Yo. Okay, so after a small little break, we're on to game 2. Hope everyone's doing okay, because I am as well.
Dire's turn to ban.
So, this time around, I'm more or less having my things in order, so that way I can go ahead and grab this and draft.
10 resets turns to pick.
So this is game 2 of the best of 3 series between intermediate tier Terries versus Pot of Greed.
Dire's turn to pick.
So for the bans that we got in the first phase, we got rid of Axe and the Ancient Apparition, as well as the Alchemist. Okay, with no Mars. All right.
Radiant's turn to ban.
Okay.
It is Dire's. It is Radiant's.
Okay. All right, I see the reason behind that. Okay, so they went ahead and grabbed themselves an Oracle in the first phase as their first pick. As the opener, Pot of Greed will respond in kind with a Treant Protector and a Snapfire. So a very, very popular offlane pick in the Centaur Warrunner has decided to show himself up in this meta. With no Lifesteal and Ursa available, as well as Spectre and Nyx Assassin, we're probably looking at a bit of more of a targeted group. Oh gosh. Okay, so no Faceless Void and no Ricky. Alrighty. So Pot of Greed kind of feel like they need to go ahead and defend themselves on this, as they went ahead and opened up with the Earthshaker in the second phase. And they're going to go ahead and respond with a Rubik in intermediate tier Terries. This prevents the Terries from going to go ahead and grab themselves a Phantom Lancer, which they did not opt for, but Pot of Greed can go ahead and save that as a last pick, if not pick it now. So they're opting for a Bloodseeker. Intriguing. Just looking at this lineup so far, we do have a very interesting setup going on. We've got Treant Protector, Snapfire, Earthshaker with a Bloodseeker. So there's a lot of potential in trapping teams with the Fissure, as well as following it up with a lot of Snapfire Kisses and the Overgrowth from Treant Protector. Now, if you go ahead and grab a Shard on him, the Aghanim Shard, you can go ahead and get the Old Nature's Guys, which basically plops everybody down as soon as you smack them. Or, I'm sorry, not plop them down, root them into the ground, and as soon as you smack them. Okay. Medusa is there. Has a nice little pick. So they grab themselves a nice flex in Medusa in terms of like trying to figure out where she would be best put. You know, you throw her in the mid lane, you go and throw her as a 1, you know, no anti-mage, so they don't want to. Oh, and no Phantom Lancer. Okay, they definitely don't want to see Phantom Lancer. Okay, so Pot of Greed instantly took out the Storm Spirit because noticing that there is no AM on the board, you know, it allows them to go ahead and make sure that they don't see that hero. Given that they are currently the last ban, they have 2 minutes and 10 seconds with plenty of reserve time to figure this one out. Kind of feels like, do they go ahead and try to take away the Puck, who is a really popular laning hero as well? I'm not entirely sure where you want to go with this one. You do have last pick. So it kind of feels like they're trying to open the door a bit more into forcing intermediate tier Terriers to be like, hey, do you want to grab the Puck? You force your Medusa into the 1 role, which means Puck is going to be in mid. giving you a relatively small open, a small window to figure out which hero you want to go after with against the puck. You took away a Nyx assassin, so OG might be available, I guess.
5 seconds.
Not that it's like actually, would she? Well, not she. So would the OD be good here? I mean, it is a Rubik. You can go ahead and Astral Imprisonment him, and then, you know, have a lot of good setup. You know, there's plenty of setup here where you easily can enable your Bloodseeker into snowballing into this game. You know, you can force a lot of team fights with a Snapfire. Earthshaker is great for initiation, isn't afraid of just jump on in and dying. You got the Treant, you know, who can go ahead and throw up the living armor, great in overgrowth. You know, the leech seed is really nice as well. You know, it doesn't surprise me that the intermediate tier Terrys have to think about this a lot, because the whole entire meta right now for mid heroes is that you kind of have to be mobile. You know, you took away Storm Spirit, you took away Death Prophet, you no longer have that option. Do you go ahead and double down on Medusa as a mid hero and try to go for a backup carry instead of picking a mid hero? Because like at that point you kind of sort of make Medusa like a tower in herself. Like she has to stay mid for a very long time, and given how important the mid tower is, it kind of sort of invites Pot of Greed to go ahead and initiate on the mid lane, because you don't have a lot of counter initiation in your own ways.
Puck.
So they're opting for the puck. They really want to go ahead and put Medusa into the safe lane, let puck do puck things, be mobile, go ahead and take a risk against this Bloodseeker and see what happens.
10 seconds remain.
I mean, like, Pot of Greed has to
5 seconds.
be, I think, not exactly super ecstatic about this, but they have to be relatively okay with what they see in front of them. I wouldn't be too thrilled, given that there's a Centaur Warrunner in front of them. That, you know, one Bloodseeker Rupture is not going to be good. So don't be surprised if they went ahead and opted for an Aghanim Scepter and Bloodseeker. And if you want a really surprise left field pick for mid for Pot of Greed, I'm thinking Grimstroke.
Drow Ranger.
Aha, so they're opting for a Drow here. Okay. So Raw Boss is going to be on the Drow in mid. Going to go ahead and take on one-on-one with Light, if I am not mistaken. Alrighty. So Raw Boss and Light, they're going to go ahead and have this one-on-one matchup in the puck versus Drow. We're going to see Ross Garner on the Medusa, probably teaming up with Yami. No. Oracle. Thug Potato and Yami is going to be in the off lane together, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see here. We're looking at Pot of Greed's lineup. We got Naya on the Treant Protector. Not much of a surprise there. Probably in the safe lane with the Bloodseeker in Jack Honeydew. Gree and Welshie in the off lane together with the Rob Boss in mid. Now, looking at ITT's lineup, and given how you want to put your eggs in one basket, it's pretty much in the Medusa. So what you can do, and this isn't something that I feel like you can possibly do, but it is okay to do, is to go ahead and just run an aggressive tri lane or an aggressive safe lane. Okay. Given the matchups and everything that you want to run into, I feel that you are better off running into an aggressive offlane against a Treant Protector and I scratch that. You want to go ahead and take an aggressive safe lane, tri lane, against Welshie and Gree in the off lane. You know, there's a bunch of stuns. The little shredder is there, but when you have Mystic Snake with a Rubik Lift and a Fortune's End or a Purifying Flames, you can go ahead and easily burst down either of those heroes. And Snapfire is most likely what you're aiming for. You don't want to go for the Earthshaker. Earthshaker has a lot of health there in the beginning of the game. So this is game 2. We have a lot of
Prepare for battle.
Eek. There we go. Gosh, sorry about that, folks. I didn't mean to give out those hard cuts. All right, so Thug Potato together with Arno. I don't know if they want to do this aggressive tri-lane that I was speaking of, you know. Oh, Yami trying to just sneak some wards on in, and Naya's right there. It's just, oh boy. Like if I'm Naya, I'm trying to sneak a sentry ward, so it's probably going to be over here on the corner. They're just doing a little dance, trying to figure stuff out. They're keeping an eye on each other from the looks of things. You can go ahead and just walk on over to Welshie. You know, you don't see much there. You know, it might be one of those games where if you want to go ahead and give yourself the best chance, sometimes being super aggressive for a rune isn't what you need, but more along the lines of a first blood. Oh, the Jack Honeydew does have the blood right going on. They're going to go ahead and throw it on down. Can they go ahead and grab someone? Out comes the scatter shot. They're able to go ahead and get Arno. He is falling a little low, but a great stomp from Thug Potato for stopping them from chasing Light. Oh, out comes the Mystic Snake. Light's in a bit of a turtle. Arno's going to be okay. We do have a lot of action going on, so Arno needs to go ahead and TP away, leaving Yami and Thug Potato in the off lane against Naya. Naya's going to go ahead and try to keep himself hidden for a little bit. Here's Gree showing up. All right, out comes the Nature's Wrath. Out comes the Fissure. They have him. Oh, Naya messed himself up a little bit against that Fissure. Oh, the Fairy Fire being used. They're going to go ahead and try to run him down just a tad bit, but it's just not enough damage.
All right, guys,
Which means...
lost this game, but we can still do this.
Oh, why? Why, thanks, Insania. Okay, Thug Potato's not having too much of a problem here. Oh, they found Yami one more time. They're going to go ahead and run at him. The salve being used and canceled right away. So they're going to go ahead and right-click him down quite a bit. Thanks to Thirst, he's able to go ahead and just stay in lane a little bit more. Great job from Naya and Gree for staying out of XP range and just let B-Jack Honeydew gain the experience that he needs to against the Centaur. Right, over in mid, we got Light in the puck and Rob Boss just facing off against each other. Doesn't feel too bad right now, but it doesn't feel great. You know, you're trying to contest this. You got to put a point into your phase shift. You need to go ahead and just fight off the Rob Boss and so forth. You know, this is a really, really intriguing matchup. It's not like my favorite matchup in the world if you're a Drow, but it is one that you can go ahead and just easily try to contest with Light, who's going to be playing as a puck. You can throw out a few frost arrows, force that phase shift out, and then just start right-clicking away, you know, and just put yourself in a good position so you don't have to deal too much with the Illusory Orb. You know, multi-shot being thrown out. There's the orb. Oh, B-Jack Honeydew's courier is dead. What the hell? Oh, the stomp just in time to go ahead and save Yami, but that Thirst is right there. He's going to go ahead and try to, you know, chase him down a bit, but oh no, the Salve went ahead and undid everything and redid everything one more time. Out comes the Blood Right. They're not going to be able to catch up with him. Oh, yep, so that's there. They're able to go ahead and get that right click onto B-Jack Honeydew. Oh, over in the safe lane though, we have Gree trying to push up on Ross Garner, who's going to go ahead and put 1 point into his mana shield at least. He does have an early Mystic Snake like he had earlier, but you know, it's looking okay. I mean, he is investing into his Sage's Mask. You know, he's trying to get that Falcon Blade on up and running. So that's very good for him. You know, he gets a small amount of mana regen, some attack damage, you know, a little bit of health if I'm not mistaken. You know, like he has some health there, you know. So overall, it's a decent item for a Medusa in the early game. You know, it's like 2 Wraith Bands into 1, I guess you can say. And a Ring of Aquarius. Oh, over in the top lane. Oh my gosh, Naya and B-Jack Honeydew were able to get this really, really annoying Centaur and get him to be bursted down quite a bit. Or at least over time. They just went ahead and just right-clicked oh, Leech Seed, a little bit of Nature's Wrath, and Grasp, I mean. Just keep whacking away. Kind of feels like Honeydew isn't afraid, so a few right-clicks onto Yami's alright. The Stomp is there. They're going to throw out the Leech Seed one more time, see if they can get something out of this. Here comes a Blood Right, there's the Stomp. They have to be careful where they run at him. A little bit of a... I'm not going to say a misplay, but a little bit of a odd choice of where to place that Blood Right. He really wanted to go ahead and get a 2-for-1 kind of thing, but it doesn't feel like Thug Potato and Yami are going to, you know, commit to that just yet. But if we look over in the mid lane here, Rob Boss and Light, they are trying to fight each other really okay. Oh, nice deny there. All right, so it's really even so far in the mid lane in terms of the CS, but when it comes to denies, oh, over in the Arno showing up and just taking names. You know, last game Arno was the one who was the Snapfire that got smacked around a bit, and it feels like this time around it's going to be Welshie that's going to get smacked a bit as Snapfire. Alright, 5 minutes into the game, we're into nighttime now. You know, Yami's running around doing Yami things. Naya trying to find his positioning. Oh, Thug Potato. It's going to go ahead and try to contest this pull here to make sure that it doesn't get pulled on the side. Which is nice to see. And over here, though, nothing too much. Oh, in the mid lane, we got Gree. He has to be careful on how he wants to go ahead and approach this. They need 1 point in Gust. They do miss it. They needed that Gust to land so that way... Oh, that's going to be a dead courier. Oh boy. They needed that Gust to show up just a tad bit earlier from Raw Boss so that way they get a decent chance at getting Light. Okay, the regen rune is out. They're going to go ahead and try to protect it, but Gree's like, screw it. I'm going to go ahead and grab this so that way Light doesn't get anything from it. Force him into getting the bounty runes. And a nice little rotation from Gree, though. Instead of opting into the bounty rune area, he opted to go ahead and take the long way around. There's the Stomp, the Blood Right's right there. Out comes the Nature's Grasp. It doesn't feel like Thug Potato's in a great position. The Leech Seed doing its damage and so forth. Out comes the Fissure, just so they can go ahead and trap him. But Naya was able to go ahead and get the last hit on that. So great teamwork there from Pot of Greed in finding, oh, another Blood Right, and finding a kill into the Centaur there. Thug Potato is not going to have the best lane so far. Kind of feel like he needed to go ahead and find a way around it, and one of the ways they can do that is they can go ahead and grab this Rubik and Yami, go in the backside over here or in this area to go ahead and just drag the wave back. Alright, so a little bit more action going on. Thug Potato's trying to get away from this Blood Right. Alright, they have a lift onto Gree. They're going to go ahead and TP on in a Light, and they're going to go ahead and try to evacuate from this whole entire area. The Dream Coil is thrown down. Gree goes ahead and snaps it, and thankfully he had enough distance where he was able to go ahead and just walk out of it. B-Jack Honeydew finding that silly bounty rune that they left out in the open. They had a lot of vision over it. They do have a stack. Oh, Naya being super aggressive. There's the leech seed. They're going to go ahead and throw down the rupture. The blood rate's right there. And they're able to go ahead and get the kill. Great teamwork from both Gree, B-Jack Honeydew, and Naya to go ahead and secure the kill onto Thug Potato. Thug Potato, even though he is a centaur, he's being just smacked around quite a bit.
Haste.
Raw Boss picking up the haste rune. Phase shift is available. He's going to go ahead and use a waning rift. Illusory orb is there. So Raw Boss is getting juked around a bit. Great job from Lights to go ahead and avoid a lot more trouble. But the haste rune is still on the drow. Just for a few more seconds though. Alright. Arno's right here to help out his mid hero and Lights. Try to heal him up a tad bit. Almost snuck in a second heal, but unable to do so. Raw Boss moving on over. Help out Naya and B-Jack Honeydew. Try to get Lights. Out comes the Gust. They missed that whole entire thing. Out comes the Nature's Grasp, the multi-shot, and the Blood Right. They missed it. They missed it on Light, and B-Jack Honeydew is trying to dive this. And here comes a Dream Coil with the buyback. They're going to go ahead and start throwing out some right clicks. Ooh, B-Jack Honeydew overextending himself. Raw Boss not in the greatest position. Got lifted in the worst spot possible. Light being ruptured, needs to stay in place where he needs to be, and a great evacuation from both Raw Boss and Naya. And you know, they didn't lose more than they needed. Nice little buyback from Yami though. Like really get that, you know, really get that kill. Like at least secure it. So they are pinging out that they have a stack right there in their own jungle. They're trying to find Ross Gardner, which they're doing right now. The Fissure isn't in range. Welshie does have his Mortimer Kisses, so. Alright. Ross Gardner coming back into lane. Falcon Blade already completed, trying to finish up those power treads. Probably has a Yasha in mind, throwing out that Mystic Snake. It does land onto Welshie. Welshie's not too afraid. May want to go ahead and use a Fire Snap after that. Using Little Shredder. Out comes the Nature's Grasp. They're going to go ahead and throw down the Mortimer's Kisses, and Ross Gardner is going to be going down. So you can say that Welshie gave him the kiss of death a bit. Thug Potato finally has a Vanguard in place, so he can go ahead and try to do his best to stand against Welshie and crew. Arno walking on in, and I was like, hey, remember me? No? Okay, I'll go ahead and remind you. They're going to go ahead and commit the Stampede on this. Out comes a Scatter Blast. They're going to go ahead and use the Fortune's End. They stole the Fissure and try to go ahead and keep Gree blocked in. You know, and it lasts quite a bit, but oh my gosh, they're using the Rupture on Thug Potato. They're landing the Blood Right, and my god, they can't kill Thug Potato yet. B-Jack Honeydew has to run away and just watch as both his teammates go down, and Gree and Welshie, and they're all sad. That Raw Boss moving on over. The Illusory Orb is out. They're going to go ahead and throw down the Blood Right to create some distance. Of course, Yami has to be super careful, and oh my gosh, the multi-shot was able to go ahead and grab him. Oh, couldn't get that Fissure down just right. Oh, the Gust almost got Light into a lot of trouble right there. But if it wasn't for his Oracle, just for a little bit of assurance and backup, he might have been in a lot of trouble at that point. Okay. B-Jack Honeydew is going to go ahead and heavily invest into a Blink Dagger. Centaur War Runner and Thug Potato's probably thinking about what he needs next. I don't know entirely what it would be, but it probably would go along the lines of a Crimson Guard or maybe an Eternal Shroud. But Hood of Defiance doesn't seem like a bad idea, honestly. Like, you get some more regen, some more magic resistance. You know you have to be a frontliner against this Pot of Greed lineup. Like, you can't be not a frontliner against this lineup. You need to be in front to go ahead and take up all those spells like we saw before. Use himself as as more or less bait whatsoever if you really want to look at it, you know. Really be that target. So that way they can go ahead and open up on it. You know, the Stampede's really nice because that Rupture can only do so much, which begs it to question, Mjolnir, not Mjolnir, but the Maelstrom is in the mind of B-Jack Honeydew. Is like, when will he try to go for that axe? Because if he goes ahead and gets that axe, he has 2 ruptures to go ahead and apply to. You go ahead and just use it once, use it a second time. They can't really commit the stampede, and it really forces a team fight that you don't want to have at times, you know. So that stampede can, you know, even if they activate the stampede and you angle yourself right, if as a Bloodseeker, you can actually go ahead and get 2 ruptures going on 2 different targets, which more or less eliminates the whole entire stampede thing, you know. Greed's still been working on his Blink Dagger. We're getting a Solar Crest onto Snapfire, very close to finishing it. About like 200 gold away, more or less. We do have Yami showing up. The Oracle is here in Arno. They're going to go ahead and lift him up. Out comes the Fortune's End. They do have him stuck right there. The Scatter Blast, the Fire Snap Cookie, and a miss on the Dream Coil. But man, the Waning Rift was there with the Illusory Aura to go ahead and get the finish. And oh no! Oh, the Red Panda. He goes down. No. Anything but the courier. Oh. Well, let's not be too sad. I think, you know, well, she was able to go ahead and grab the items off of the courier just in time, you know, getting the Windlace, you know, but Windlace wasn't going to be that helpful in that situation. He was going to get slammed on anyways, regardless. Alrighty, so BJ Honeydew is going to opt into getting an SNY after the Maelstrom, try to go ahead and more or less function as a sweeping farmer at this point. Really go ahead and focus on getting probably this one side camp maybe, or if not, grab this camp here and move forward on putting pressure onto the mid lane, which is something that I believe he shouldn't be too in danger of doing. You know, oh, the lift onto Rob Boss. He's moving forward. They're going to go ahead and commit the stampede. Out comes the rupture, but he's going to go ahead and die right away anyways. All right. So he was moving a little bit too far forward. All right, the Fortune's End is coming out. Naya's not in the greatest position. Well, the Waning Rift with the Dream Coil. They're trying to push this man away. Oh, out comes the Overgrowth. There is the Medusa Gaze. As long as they don't look into the Medusa, they're okay. Out comes the Echo Slam. And they're able to get one onto the puck. Can they follow it up is the real question. Doesn't feel like they're going to be following it up anytime soon. They did commit quite a bit. All right, Rob Boss is going to be healed up from Naya. Naya with the urn. Spirit Vessel is in mind, so they can go ahead and counteract this damn centaur a bit. Oh boy. So BJ Honeydew is a little bit behind now, even though he is second on net worth. You don't want this Medusa farming way too long into the game, so it feels like they're on a bit of a timer. But they do have a backup plan in Drow. Oh no, they really needed that mid tower's gold, but that deny is gonna set them back quite a bit. Ooh, nice little stack motion there. Excuse me, my apologies. Oh, we got a stolen spell. Rubik, what'd you grab? Ooh, Enchant Totem. Really good for him. Really good. You know, lift someone up to you, bring them down, enchant totem, right click, and then you go ahead and throw out the Fade Bolt. You do quite a bit of damage at that point. Oh, Waning Rift from Light. They're going to go ahead and stun him up a bit. Overgrowth is not available just yet using the Dream Coil, but they're going to go ahead and slow him down with the Nature's Wrath. He's going to go ahead and get himself away. Alright, they do have some backup in Arno and Yami. But they're not going to go ahead and chase him down just yet. They do feel like they can go ahead and sacrifice this top tower. They're going to use the glyph, and they're putting on the nature's armor, the living armor. Interesting. Okay. All right, so it's going to be more of a slowdown, but that doesn't matter anyways. It's going to be gone regardless. Ooh. Oh, Nelly. Anyways. So when we go ahead and keep in mind and what we're seeing at the moment, BJ Honeydew is rotating with his teammates throughout the map on the bottom portion. They're sweeping together, trying to get this tower. They do have a bit of vision. They want to fight under. That's where they want to be, is over here. They don't want to fight anywhere else. Alright, out comes the Nature's Grasp right there from Naya. Throwing down the Blood Right, and it's okay to go ahead and get that spell stolen if you want. Not entirely, but like the last thing you really want to do is get a Rupture stolen, so they feel a little threatened here, so they're going to go ahead and start backing away just a tad bit. Arno is going to go ahead and deward that area. So they're going to go ahead and do a tactical retreat. Put them... Oh, I thought it was going to be a tactical retreat. They're going to go ahead and apply it all one more time. Out comes the Fire Snap Cookie. They're trying to unload all the damage that they can. Oh, and here's the Stomp and the Lift onto Gree, who's going to go ahead and use his Echo Slam anyways. And that went ahead and solidified the death for Thug Potato. I think he was going to go ahead and survive that, actually. Alright, so you don't have any Centaur. You used your Rupture. You have a lot of options at this point. You do have your Mortimer Kisses, so I feel like that's going to be a really key to this fight. And the Terrys know that, so they're going to go ahead and try to hop their way around this. Oh, they're going to go ahead and use Fortunes and try to silence him up a little bit. There's a right click. They're going to go ahead and commit to it. All right, they're able to get the kill, but they're going to go ahead and opt in on this Rubik anyways. Oh, they were about to use the Overgrowth, but they opted not to because here comes the Medusa's Gaze. They're going to run away, the Living Armor onto Naya to go ahead and survive. Oh, they had a vision of him. Uh-oh. Naya, you got to be careful. Got to be careful. Okay, the Waning Rift is not available for another 5 seconds to throw in the Illusory Orb. He's going to go down anyways. Oh man, they had vision of him for just 1 second. I think him just staying there wasn't the play, but, you know, trying to gain out of that particular area, I think would have been. Given with how aggressive the moves that Pot of Greed is doing right now, and the amount of space that they're giving Raw Boss, I feel like they're not in the worst position that they possibly can be. But the Medusa is slowly but surely overtaking the Bloodseeker, as you can see on the net worth. You know, the SNY is almost finished, and oh man, it just feels like this Medusa, you know, as soon as she can go ahead and grab this Aghanim Scepter, which wouldn't be too much longer. I think she needs another 5 minutes or so. And even if she gets another kill, it's going to be even worse at that point. Okay, she can go ahead and just be like, okay, let's go ahead and take a fight. You know, it's battle mode at that time. You know, 25 minutes in, 26 minutes in for Medusa, and to go ahead and start taking fights after the Manta and the Ags rush. Oh man, you know, this isn't like the Medusa of old where it's like, okay, try to farm up like, you know, some stat items. I have Scotty, grab yourself a, you know, Divine Rapier or rush that. It's more along the lines of, let's go ahead and just get 2 items and then run at them and see what happens. You know, this Medusa seems to be online a lot faster. So, you know, the change with the Aghanims is really good for her. And then not only that, she has Cold-Blooded. No, she can go ahead and actually opt for that right now. And the reason why is that you have a lot of single targets. Oh, they have Smoked Up and Pot of Greed. They're breaking each other's smoke. They know they're in each other's way. Dream Coil and the Stampede. Oh, they're going to go ahead and lift. Oh, and there's the Echo Slam taking out the Oracle right away. There is no save whatsoever, but the Medusa is using that Gaze to go ahead and get the kill. All right, there's the Fire Snap Cookie. They're able to take out the Puck right away. The Gust is out. They're able to go ahead and use the Overgrowth from Naya. More and more kisses coming down. The Blood Right is being used, and they're able to go ahead and team wipe the intermediate tier Terrys. Oh, great usage from the spells that they were casting on both sides to go ahead and give themselves the best chances at winning. It kind of felt like Medusa was in the really wrong spot of the area. The Stampede was used almost expertly. Great job from the Rubik to go ahead and snap the Bloodseeker, but they had no follow-up whatsoever. You know, as I was saying before, like, Medusa, she can go ahead and get Cold-Blooded. And I feel like there is enough single targets. Well, actually, no. What am I saying? I don't think there's not enough single target on there to go ahead and justify the Aghanim Shards pick whatsoever, because there's not enough single targets. Yeah, I keep thinking that there is, but there really truly isn't. You know, you just got Leech Seed, nothing from the Drow. B-Jack Honeydew pretty much has only Rupture. Yeah. There's nothing from Snapfire that can really proc it from what I can tell, so. Me and my crazy brain. So it kind of feel so yeah, you know, just go ahead and finish up the Aghanim Scepter on Medusa. Just protect her. It's a four protect one in this game. You know, and it's like sneaky for the puck too, because like a 4 protect 1 is really good for puck gameplay. Because at that point you're not really trying to play to whittle someone down. It's more along the lines you have Dream Coil, you go ahead and just start moving around, rotate them around the map, use it right away. Stampede is on a relatively low cooldown, and Stampede's already available again. So for me, it's like a 4 protect 1 situation. So you gotta put all your eggs in the same basket as the Medusa. So trying to do the 4 protect 1 strategy in this meta is very difficult to pull off, especially after you took a 5v5 and lost it severely. Not only that, you have to worry about the Aegis. So if you can go ahead and just keep the eyesight that you have right now on the map, you just need to find that one person who's left alone, pick them off, and then try to force a 4v4. Okay, while allowing the Medusa to go ahead and just farm up her items. And she's not that far away from getting her Aghanim Scepter. The moment that she is able to go ahead and do so, you can go ahead and just start running. Oh, Solar Crest is really, really useful. You can go ahead and start running at them with Stampede and just like start taking fights. Left and right, 5v5. Super close to it, because that Mystic Snake, Aghanim's Scepter, is going to go ahead and just mess up their whole entire team fight. Because you go ahead and turn them into stone for a bit, you know? Once you go ahead and turn them into stone, it's just going to be a lot more difficult. It's going to disrupt a lot of things. Okay. Manta being super useful in pushing out these lanes. You know, ooh, BKB. You know, that BKB is going to be useful, but it's not going to be that useful against Medusa. So it's more along the lines of, okay, go ahead and get that, you know, that Medusa gaze out, then everybody turn around. They're going to get, you know, run down by the Stampede, but that's kind of what you want. You know, you want to go ahead and bait out that gaze a bit. And that's the one you really want. That's the ultimate that you want to go ahead and bait out the most. It's not the Stampede, it's the gaze. Oh, they're going to go ahead and Stampede, commit to the into Gree. Quick kill. Oh, they're going to go ahead and follow it up onto Gree, not onto Gree, but Rabas. They're going to go ahead and throw down the Blood Right. The Dream Coil was very useful, but they couldn't get it snapped. So they need to go ahead and back away from this. They got one. All right. And they committed the Stampede for it. I'm not entirely sure if you needed to get that kill onto Gree, but man, now you need to wait for at least 1 minute. And by the time he's up, you know, it's not going to be that great. Throwing out the Fortune's End to go ahead and keep some space in between himself and everybody else on that team.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Ooh. Now, looking at the intermediate tier Terries, again, you know, you really have to invest onto the Medusa. She has her Aghanims on the way. There it is, right on time. 26 minutes in. Now you're more or less in battle mode, throwing out that Mystic Snakes as soon as you can see. Man, you turn things into stone. And super disruptive in all these team fights. All right, great job from Arno to go ahead and get rid of that ward like he suspected, and was like, okay, I'm really happy about that. All right, now it's all about what you can do to snowball this Medusa. MKB, of course, is really nice. I feel that even though MKB is really good, MKB is very much a high ground defense item, so you want to go ahead and grab like a Scotty, because you're going to be in battle mode at this point. And right now, if you're going to be in battle mode, especially with your team and your lineup that you have with you, you want to go ahead and pick somebody off. You see there's one person available over here on top in Welshi, and oh, aha, they're trying to look where everybody's at. Okay. Probably using Thug Potato as bait. He's going to go ahead and just blink away for a moment. They feel like they can go ahead and get this kill. Oh, they're pointing out light. Out comes one stun. Can they go ahead and get the follow-up, the enchant totem? They have him silenced up. They're going to go ahead and use the Yules. Oh, they have him and threw him on in. He might be in a little bit of trouble. Oh, they have him escaping. They're going to go ahead and apply the Mortimer's Kisses, and they're able to go ahead and find him. Great fissure and the follow-up from Greed to secure the kill. Well, at least in terms of vision, because, well, she got credit for that. Thanks to the Mortimer's Kisses and the Aghanim Scepter to go ahead and spit out anybody. And that was a great spit on B-Jack Honeydew. There, and not only that, it was great timing in terms of the wave push and everything. So they're going to go ahead and just start sieging this, you know, which is perfectly fine for them. It forces the Medusa to come on back and Ross is going to go ahead and throw out the Mystic Snake. As you could see, it really helped in defending against Rob Boss. You know, the Aegis is no longer there. You know, it's been a while. And, ooh, they're going to go ahead and smoke on up. If they knew Naya was all alone on bottom, they're going to go ahead and get him. Oh, they're smoked up. They're going to go ahead and try to make a nice play. They don't see anyone just yet. Rob Boss is next to him. Oh, they broke smoke. Rob Boss, he's looking for the right target, and so far they found it in Welshie. All right, and in the back lines, oh, Welshie's surviving quite a bit. Able to survive, and the Oracle in the back lines is the one that got caught. Great Echo Slam from Gree. Here comes the multi-shot. There's the Blood Right to go ahead and see if they can get anybody. Out comes the Rupture, and they were able to go ahead and get two more. The Medusa's Gaze is being used and trying to go ahead and protect himself to get away from the situation, but he's going to go ahead and try to man fight. Man, that Mystic Snake is not helping out too much. And here comes the Fissure. Rabas getting the kill. All right, and so far the Puck's the only one that's the survivor in all of this, and he's quickly out of here. So they're going to go ahead and try to siege this mid tower one more time. They had to go ahead and sacrifice the Snapfire for this, but if you're looking at it from this perspective, you took out 4, you lost 1. Mid tower is easy to siege because you have a Drow. I think anybody would take that trade any day of the week. You know, B-Jack Honeydew is going to go ahead and just keep farming this up, of course, with the BKB in mind. You know, you're not out of this just yet. You are down 10k. Your Medusa is dead. She's still the top net worth on your team. You do need to find ways to go ahead and get some high ground defense going. And here we are with a great high ground defense with the Stomp to blink in and the buyback from the Oracle. Great job on the Dream Coil with the blood right in the whole entire fight. Oh, they're gonna go ahead and stampede on in to see if they can catch anyone. Naya throwing out that Nature's Grasp just in time to cut off Thug Potato. They're trying to look for Naya. Almost had him, but they know he's right there. Arno just pinging it out, saying, "Hey, we need to get rid of the stupid damn Treant." Can we get to him is the question. I don't think so. Treant is gonna go ahead. Naya's gonna be like, I'm gonna go ahead and just wait patiently and just walk away. Able to go ahead and do so. You know, that was a great tower defense. They almost lost to tier 3. Important that they didn't get that to get that one. You know, for their high ground defense. You know, and they got a great trade in getting the Rob Boss. You know, who has the BKB now. Oh, they're going to go ahead and apply the Fire Snap Cookie. They're blinking forward with the Echo Slam. Out comes the Fissure, and they're able to go ahead and get the Oracle. Here comes the Medusa Gaze, and oh my gosh, the Rupture. The Mortimer Kiss is coming on out. He's grabbing lights, and oh my god, he is one speedy race car right now. Thug Potato's in a little bit of trouble. They're going to go ahead and stomp. Try to reposition himself, but he's going to be chased down anyways, regardless of the situation. And oh, they're able to go ahead and get the Centaur, and this Medusa's all alone. There's the Dream Coil. Can they do anything about it? They keep her alive. They're trying to their best and unable to do so, and they don't care. B-Jack Honeydew's like, I'm gonna go ahead and vroom on vroom right on through. Oh, Yami buying back. Centaur buying back. The Potato and Yami, they're like, hey, we can't give up this tower just yet. We still have faith in our damn Medusa, even though we took a relatively decent fight, but that just went completely sideways because the longer the Bloodthirst was going, the faster B-Jack Honeydew was going, man. You know, oh my gosh, they're just playing with Raw Boss at this point. You know, Raw Boss still not using his BKB in any of these two in that fight whatsoever. Yikes. That's concerning a bit, you know. Again, this is the tower, not the tower, but a tower that they have to go ahead and defend as best as they can. That tier 3 is being threatened, so they can never let a creep wave like near it. So great job from Fuck to go ahead and do that. Ooh, invested into an Aghanim Scepter, which is even better, you know, because that Dream Coil. Ooh, and not only that, it has the Waning Rift. Oh, this is great. They can go ahead and reveal and push back units when they go ahead and do the Dream Coil, you know, steal that Gust and that Lift and everything. Oh, they're going to go ahead and find Greed right away, who's lifted up and rooted with the Fortune Sand. Great Stomp and the Stampede, but he's ruptured up a bit. The multi-shot coming out. Here's the Medusa's Gaze. Can they go ahead and get these people in trouble? They have the Dream Coil onto 3. Here comes the Blood Right one more time. They're going to go ahead and get Raw Boss down. But man, this Medusa standing her ground, and a great stomp from Thug Potato, but Raw Boss with the BKB killing the Oracle, unleashing on the Thug Potato. Can he get the kill on the Thug Potato is the question. And he's able to go ahead and do so. The Hyperthermia doing its thing. Raw Boss doesn't have the Aegis anymore. Out comes the Gus, trying to get this damn Puck, but unable to do so. Who's going to go ahead and save himself. But man, this Rubik's been staying alive. The Living Armor helping out, and the Hypothermia doing its thing and trying to go ahead and kill this Medusa, and they're able to do so. Oh man, great job from Pot of Greed. And Arnold's going to be calling it. They're tapping out right here, right now. They're going down, and they're calling GG. Well played on both sides. Talk about a very entertaining game too. Congratulations to Pot of Greed of winning out this series 2-0. So let's go ahead and play some music and transition on over. Woo-wee. Alrighty, so that was pretty exciting. It was a very close contestable game 2. Alright, intermediate tier terriers, they decided to go ahead and tap out after the last team fight. They were so close with this Medusa against Pot of Greed, but they just could not hold out in the end. They were so very close. She ended up getting a Crystallis, if I'm not mistaken, from what I'm seeing. Ended up just unable to do anything in that last team fight. They were so close. They had a Dream Coil on 3 of them, and it looked like they were all in trouble in Welshie and... No, was it? I think it was Gree, Welshie, and Raw Boss that was stuck in that Dream Coil. So either way, they were really close in winning that team fight. If they were able to go ahead and pull it out, especially getting and forcing that Aegis, I think they would have been really happy with that, and it would have kept them in the game for a little bit longer. You know. So net worth wise, yeah. It wasn't looking great, but, you know. Anyways, I want to go ahead and say thank you so much, everyone, for stopping on by and watching some Dota 2 action from the AD2L Season 31 playoffs. So, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, because last week I thought Pot of Greed was out of the playoffs, but nope, that wasn't the case. They just had a week break, and they were back in it again for this series of playoffs. So they were at it, and they were able to go ahead and pull off that win. And I believe they will have another series next week, if I'm not mistaken, if they're going to continue on. And I'll go ahead and tweet out everybody what is going to be happening on after that. Let's see here. I don't know what else is happening, but I'll let you guys know on Twitter. I'll go ahead and tweet it out and let you guys all know what's going on. And oh, you know what? Let me go ahead and just give you some updates on the NADPC, see how all of that turned out in case you didn't know. So NA Upper Division and today's final games more or less turned out that BNY went ahead and forfeited. They couldn't get a stand-in for Envy, if I'm not mistaken. So EG got the win. But QC, Quincy Crew, they had a 3-game series, very long game 3 series between Undying and themselves. And it went, like I said, the distance, and it turned into a 2-1 series victory for Quincy Crew. All right, which means congratulations to Quincy Crew for getting first place in the NADPC Upper Division. They secured their spot into the major, and that leaves with Evil Geniuses getting second place, and they're going to be running into the major group stage. So that's going to be very interesting for them to deal with there. The group stage is going to be very spicy if Evil Genius is going to be there. So, oh, that is such great news for Quincy Crew. If you've been a Quincy Crew fan for a very long time, you know, that is going to be super ecstatic for yourself after seeing that whole entire series win. Well deserved for Quincy Crew. They worked really, really hard for the past 2 years, year and a half, more or less, in putting themselves into prime positioning. They lost their sponsors. They're still looking for a sponsor. So if a sponsor is watching this right now, you know, take a look at Quincy Crew. They've been one of the better NA teams for the past two and a half years, more or less, if not 3. So check them out. If you give them a chance, you'll see what you like. You'll like what you see. There we go. English difficult. All right, which leaves us with one final matchup for the NADPC, and it's going to be tomorrow on Saturday. It's going to be one hell of a banger. Super important for Arkosh Gaming. Their destiny is in their hands. They're going to go ahead and face off with 5-Man Midas tomorrow at, if I am not mistaken, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 o'clock Eastern Time. If I did my math right, 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific. Anywho's, everyone, I do once more say thank you so much for being here. I gave you the NADPC update, and I completely forgot. There's one more series that if you are a fan of the DPC this season, there is one series that it is a must go and watch. It's going to be happening tomorrow on Friday, the 21st of May. It's the biggest series of the week, next to, you know, Arkosh Gaming, because if Arkosh wins that, they're going to be promoted to Division 1. If they lose that, they're going to be in a playoff series with Team Dogchamp. So, with that in mind, it's the biggest series of the week, the biggest, hypest South American series of the week, mind you, is gonna be No Ping versus Beast Coast. It is a fantastic game to close out the season. This is gonna be super hype. If you haven't seen No Ping yet, they are undefeated in the season. They're trying to go for 7-0 to force a playoff series between Thunder Predator and Beast Coast. And Beast Coast has a different plan in mind. They want to go ahead and win this series so that way No Ping doesn't go undefeated 6-1 with tying matching records, which I believe leads into a best of 3. All right. Tiebreaker situation. All right. Let's see here. So if I read this right, if there's a tie along dividing line, tiebreaker match will be played between major playoffs and major group stage. Okay, so yes, so if Beast Coast wins, right, they're gonna go ahead and force themselves into another tiebreaker situation into no ping, right? And I don't know when they're going to be playing that series. It might be on Saturday. It might be on Sunday to give the teams a little bit of rest. If not, they're going to play it the same day, which I highly doubt, right? Which leads into No Ping and Beast Coast having 2 series in the same week, or at least in the same time frame, relatively close to each other, to go ahead and determine who's going to be going to the major playoffs situation or into group stage. So it's super important for Beast Coast to win it, to go ahead and determine once more where their position is going to be for the majors. It's basically do or die for Beast. And that, I'm not going to say do or die for Beast Coast, but it's a very important series for Beast Coast. No ping, they know what they can do. And if they are able to go ahead and force Beast Coast into a playoff series with Thunder Predator, for Beast Coast, they solidify their major group stage playoffs spot. So a lot of there's a whole lot riding on the situation tomorrow for South American teams. All right. So again, it's going to be super important to see how that all pans out, and it's super exciting. We have 2 days of Dota in a row where we're just going to be like, yep. Let's see what's happening. Who's going to be going to Division 1 in the NA scene? Who is going to be on top of the SA DPC? Can No Ping beat arguably the best team in all of South America in Beast Coast? That is the biggest question. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and sign out. Thank you for sticking around. Also, that was a quick update on what was going on in the North America and South America DPC scene. So congratulations again once more to Quincy Crew. And I get to say congratulations to Pot of Greed for winning your series. You guys turned it around, and that is great to see. It was a really tough few weeks for you guys mentally. I mean, you guys had a lot of games being played that were not going in your favor whatsoever, but you guys turned it around and pulled it out. All right, so again, I'm gonna go ahead and sign on off, and I'll see you guys later. This is Artifazel. Have a good morning, have a good day, have a good afternoon, if not evening, wherever you may be. Stay safe, and for the love of God, please keep wearing your damn masks.